Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best brawlers in Power League for Season 23 in Brawl Stars. So, Season 23 starts in a few days' time. The meta has definitely shifted from when I last did this a month ago, and things have just kind of got a little bit stable now, so I'm able to really solidify the best 10 brawlers in Power League. So, of course, we're going to be starting off with probably the best brawler in Power League right now, and probably one of the best brawlers in the game, or definitely in the top 3 for me. It has to be Leon. So, in every single game mode, every single map, I would probably recommend going Leon. Even in Heist, there's some playability with him, but in the other 5 game modes, he's a must pick. And the reason why you must pick him in Power League as well is because no one seems to ban him crazy enough. People think of other brawlers to ban, especially, say, if you have first pick, the opponents typically maybe ban like Fang or other annoying brawlers, whilst Leon always creeps through and he just deletes everything. So the reason why he's so good is because of that hypercharge. You can cycle through supers pretty quickly. You just need to get your first one, which can take a little while. Once you get that first one, you can easily cycle. And of course, invisibility is always so OP. And again, you can literally use him everywhere. Brawl, gem grab, absolutely insane. Knockout bounty, he's just made for that meta. So for that reason alone, you just have to play him in Power League. To jump into the next brawler you must absolutely max out for this season of Power League, we have Kette. So Kette has always been pretty consistent since her hypercharge, but I think now she's starting to at least shift herself away from the, well, she's still in the Heist meta, but at least in other game modes. So in gem grab, she's absolutely insane right now, and of course hot zone and Brawl as well. She can be pretty strong overall. The reason why she's just so strong is because you can use the extra gadget charge gear on her, get 4 gotcha gadgets, and you could just cycle through supers like crazy. You know, you pop that hypercharge with the mass attack star power and the healing on top of that, and you also get a 15% shield. She's like unkillable, and she'll just team wipe literally through the whole team. And as I said, in gem grab, she's a really good option because she can counter a lot of different lanes on some maps like last stop and open space, and she can safely collect gems with her super. So for me, I think Kette is a must max out, especially for this season in Power League. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler you must absolutely max out for Power League this season, it is Pearl. So again, I was early on this train, and Pearl is absolutely insane in Power League right now. Knockout, she's the best brawler, absolutely. She's just unkillable. You get that shield, star power, heat shield, and with the overcooked gadget, you can just one-shot so many brawlers. It's just impossible to stop because she's so tanky as well, and she doesn't even need to be fully heated up. She can just be at least above a third of the heat, and she'll just absolutely rip through everything. Of course, as well, you can play her in other game modes as well. I'm seeing her in Heist, I'm seeing her in gem grab, Brawl. I would say that Brawl, I don't even know, Brawl's not even the weakest game mode. I can't really pinpoint a weak game mode on here. I've even been playing Pearl on shooting star, for example, because you can tank so many shots. Again, I was like facing a bow lane on shooting star, just you can literally just eat the shots with the shield, and then once you get in range, just tap that gadget button and then another shot after that, and you just delete pretty much every single brawler in the game. So Pearl for me is a must max out. She's one of the best brawlers for sure. So jumping into the next brawler, which you guys should know by now, for months now, it's been Mais, and she's been absolutely done broken. And in Power League, normally I don't recommend the absolute best brawlers in the game, but again, I think Mais always escapes the bans for absolutely no reason. Like, I must be the only person that consistently bans Mais if they have first pick, because she's just absolutely insane everywhere. Of course, she's not the best on knockout bounty, but you can still use her on maps like close quarters, of course. But you know, in hot zone, gem grab, Brawl, she's still going through the draft, and it's even, of course, in Heist, literally every map except for Bridge Too Far, she's meta on as well. So just look at his versatility, she's absolutely insane. And if you pick her, literally the opponents cannot pick a single tank because you'll just rip through them with Mais. Of course, do I need to explain why she's so strong? The hypercharge, you can just team wipe so easily, and the fact that you only need like 7-8 shots to really cycle through it, especially with your gadget and super combination, you're able to cycle 2-3 hypercharges in a game, and that will literally win your Power League games on its own. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler you must absolutely max out for this season of Power League, we have Charlie. So Charlie, again, brawler that most people don't actually consider too toxic right now, but she just always escapes the bans, and she's always regularly picked. You can think of every single game mode again, except for the super long range maps, you can pretty much play Charlie everywhere. So of course, she's got a good gadget in spiders, being able to tank the single shots, but even if the opponents try and counter you, I don't know, and go like a Sandy or a brawler that can pierce through the spiders, you can actually just switch to the other gadget. I've seen some pros use the healing gadget in the right moment. It can actually be really clutch, so make sure to try that out. Really underrated underrated one, but of course she's insane everywhere. Gem grab, hot zone, she can be insane on heist because the spiders can just delete the safe, and it is just impossible to kind of predict the super because unless you've got a dodging mechanic, literally every single time Charlie's just going to put you in a cocoon, and that's a free kill every single time. So for me, Charlie is still so OP. Okay, so now jumping into the next Brawl you must absolutely max out for this season of Power League, we have Amber. So Amber right now is just a menace. The second that she locks onto you, you're just dead. The damage buff has just absolutely made her explode in Power League. And again, it's a brawler that's not often banned whatsoever. Again, I target ban Amber a few times because she can be so annoying, but she's just picked so often in the draft. Again, you can literally use her everywhere. I've seen her use it in knockout, probably everywhere except for bounty. She's just so strong. Again, the damage buff has just made it so once you get into the range, you're just going to delete everyone. And of course, the Dancing Flames gadget as well used to be the worst gadget in the game. Now you can switch between both gadgets with Amber. So if you're up against a composition which has a few tanks, or if you're on a map with a lot of walls, then you're able just to abuse this gadget. It deals so much damage. You can literally get a few flames onto someone, that's going to literally delete them. So for me, Amber is a must max out, so underappreciated in the meta. So now jumping into the next Brawl you must absolutely max out for this season in Power League, we have Lola. So Lola's a brawler which I don't typically play too much, but I see her appear in draft so often, even with the pros as well. She's just super consistent, super versatile, and you can always switch around star powers as well depending on the matchup. So the reason why I love Lola so much, again, you can literally go through every single game mode and you can pick Lola, and people have just been underrating it. She's really good for survivability. So if you want to play a game mode like Hot Zone, or if you're playing lane on a, I don't know, bounty or something, then she can just have some insane survivability. If you want to play as a mid gem grabber as well, you've got the Sealed with a Kiss star power where you're able to heal up consistently. It's really hard for the opponents to kill you. And again, if you're up against, I don't know, I've seen it like Meg in knockout, then you can just switch to a Lola and just shred through the Meg so easily. I think a good Lola can really make a big impact in the game. Again, she's not really played too much by the majority of players. She's one of the least played picked brawlers just across the board in Brawl Stars, but that doesn't mean that she's trash, right? She's just maybe a little bit boring to some people, but I think she's still creeping towards the A tier. She's always underrated. Okay, so jumping into the next Brawl you must absolutely max out for this season of Power League, we still have Bose. So I know I was probably a little bit harsh when Bo received the nerfs. I said that it'd pretty much kill him, but I think he's still a pretty consistent pick. I still don't feel like you can just pick Bo no matter the game mode and like situation and just first pick him. You can't really do that. Maybe if you're lower level, then you can probably get away with it, but once you start creeping up your elo and starting going towards the mythic or legendary ranks, you can't really just do that with this brawler because he still has some weaknesses. But still, I see him picked so often. He's still a really good option. I don't know, some grassy maps to break open the grass and also the walls can just be consistent across the board, in the sense like if you don't know what to pick, then Bo probably is a good option. Hot Zone, of course, he's really strong on. And again, if it's just a bunch of brawlers that are picked and you're just unsure, Bo's just that decent brawler, and he still received a damage buff when you think about it. Like, he received a big buff and then a nerf, and it's kind of in between now, so he can still put out some good damage, but again, just don't pick him every single time. Okay, so jumping into the next Brawl you must absolutely max out for this season in Power League, we have Belle. So Belle, for me, I think one reason why you want to max her out, because we know a hype charge is coming with her soon, so you kind of want to get ahead of the train there. But at the same time, I just find myself picking Belle so much. I don't know if it's just my bias, but there's so many times where she's such a safe pick. You can think of pretty much every bounty map you can get away with playing Belle. There's not really too many big counters to her. You know, heist, she's a pretty solid option when it comes to bridge too far. Hot Zone, I find myself playing Bo a lot on maps like Open Zone, Ring of Fire, really solid there. And of course, any kind of passive map on Knockout and Brawl, she's fairly consistent across the board. Again, there are multiple better options than her when it comes down to a lot of situations, but they often get banned out, like Piper, like Nanny, and you can always trust a Belle. Okay, so now jumping into the final Brawl you must max out for this season of Power League, I went with Buster. So he's been going under the radar for a little while now. He received a nerf a couple of months ago, removing the slow effect from his gadget, and people thought that killed Buster, but I just feel like people really overrated that nerf, and he's just still really strong. A tier or S tier, absolutely. Of course, it still takes a good Buster player to push up the map, but I just think the presence alone with the super, being able to force people back into the spawn, you know, you think of Knockout, for example, out in the open, a good Buster can easily push the opponents back, and the gadget is still a free kill pretty much every single time. You just have to probably pick your fights a little bit easier. As long as you know you can 2-3 shot them pretty quickly, then you're just going to win pretty much every single interaction. Of course, Brawl gem cap pretty solid overall. You just probably can't go in bounty, but still, I've been seeing in bounty the like maps like Layer Bake, where there's a lot of grass. A good buster can make a lot of things happen. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Just a quick brief update on the meta. Of course, you guys like to just stay in tune with it, and I think these are the pretty best brawlers in Power League right now. Maybe Piper as well, but these are going to be always not really banned often, and you're pretty safe to go in because they're just solid overall. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.